Good afternoon, everyone. We are back after the Diwali break to bring you the 28th episode of Candid Ciceroni Live, one of its kind of unique talk show which delves into the trends, challenges that are plaguing the industry in fashion and lifestyle. We always feel styling is really incomplete without the accessories in terms of jewelry. Whatever the best kind of outfit that you wear, if it is not accessorized well, it's not going to look great. And so to talk about jewelry, we have with us this young dynamic person, Jaydeep Bharatji, MD of Bharatji with us.
That's right. Thank you Falguni for the introduction.
Great. So before we begin the entire dialogue, let me tell you what Jaydeep has been up to. He has been in this industry for about last 6 years, and he has studied MBA in finance and operations. He was working earlier with one of the brilliant consultancies, and thereafter he's joined the business. He is currently leading Bharatji, a JV between Bahrain based Devji Group and Bharatji. It has about 20 retail stores and 4 manufacturing units. It's quite a huge one, right? So let's delve into it further.
Yes.
So now you tell us, what got you into the business of jewelry? Was it by choice? Was it by genes? The legacy? What?
So the thing is that the best choices are made when you have the least information. So when I dwelled into this, or I probably jumped into this industry, though we have a jewelry background, my grandfathers, my father, they were in the jewelry industry for more than 60 years.
Sure.
But unfortunately, in 2007, my father passed away, and due to certain reasons, we exited the jewelry business. We have another line of business which is into pharmaceutical machinery.
Sure.
So I personally, I used to come as a kid at the jewelry store, but in terms of professionally, I did not have any experience. So what I did was that I did my MBA, and it was majored in finance and minors in operations. And then I worked for a company called Crystal Ratings. So till that time I was completely into numbers, and because I was studying the financials of a company and rating them and everything. But at the back of the mind, that thing was still there, that I need to have a business of my own. And it was always that emotional thing was there, that I want to start the jewelry business again. So after a couple of years, when I thought that, okay, I'm in the best place in my company. Generally people leave company when they are now cribbing and everything, okay. So I left it at the place wherein I was enjoying it thoroughly. And I was like, the more I spend time here, then I'm never going to come out. So at one point in time I took a decision.
And that's a smart move generally.
Huh?
That's a smart move generally.
Yeah. I still have very fond memories of where I used to work. So that's how it started. So I wanted to move out, and I moved out. There were 2 things which were fixed, that I want to be into jewelry. And I want to start from this place, because this is where my father started from.
Sure.
So that was the only 2 things which are common.
Was it more of an emotional reason?
It was more of an emotional reason, but there were other aspects also. So in terms of opportunities and growth, my personal ambitions also, it aligned with me doing business, then probably doing a service or a job.
Sure.
That always aligned. And the kind of risks which I have to take, the kind of decision making capabilities and opportunities which I have while running a business, even if a small one, is much higher than probably in a safe environment like job.
Sure.
So that excited me also. But yes, it was a combination of
both
emotion and of course the practical aspects or my personal ambitions also.
So when did it start, Bharatji?
So Bharatji in its current form started in 2014.
Okay.
Bharatji is my father's name.
Right.
So he had been in the business for a very long period of time. So we had one company called Bharat Kumar Mahendra Kumar, which started in around 1970s. So we still have that kind of a goodwill. That's why I use Bharatji since 1975. So in its re-christened form, it started in 2014. Yes, as a joint venture between Devji and Bharatji.
Sure, sure. So it's a very traditional business, this whole jewelry business. It is a very, very traditionally driven businesses. And so what modernization do you think has taken place in this industry in the past few years or a decade so?
I think jewelry industry has been one which by some way or the other has been able to catch up with the market. That's why if you consider in terms of size of the market, it's still one of the biggest industries in the country, one of the largest employment providing industries in the country. if you talk about what kind of modernization has taken place, I think a lot of modernization has taken place in terms of the way the jewelry is manufactured. So what has happened is as the gold prices and the diamond prices increased, okay, so the constraints of buying them increased. So there was a very peculiar challenge wherein craftsmen will have to manufacture a good or a jewelry which looks good but with a lesser weight or probably a much more economical weight. So that paved way for a lot of modernization in terms of micro setting, in the last 2 decades I'm talking about. And a lot of mass manufacturing also happened. So while that modernization happened, it killed a bit of spirit of the jewelry industry also, which was predominantly handcrafted jewelry or real jewelry. While what you see currently in the market is more of a mass manufactured jewelry. It's a casted pieces which are there. So that transition has happened. So in terms of manufacturing, it is definitely there is a modernization. In terms of logistics, yes, you can buy jewelry from any place, anywhere, because there are international level trade shows which are happening. So that way also it has modernized a lot. The only thing where we lag behind is still probably the craftsmanship or the design aspect of it. In terms of the forms which you see, and that's one thing which is going to break or make the industry in the next 10 years.
Absolutely.
If we do not innovate into that and we do not adapt to that, I think we are going to face some bigger challenges in future.
Which brings me to the topic, since you mentioned design, there's a lot of buzz around the design word, everybody's going back to the craft form and the heritage, and everybody wants to revive something or the other, at least in fashion that's the case, and which is very interesting to see that development. Do you think that is translating even in the case of jewelry? People are going back to their roots and kind of asking ke hamara tyani design, something like that?
Yeah, so I think jewelry has faced that problem in a very minimal way, mainly because being a high ticket item, in terms of the gold price being high, the customers always tend to go to a safer design.
Which is you go back to the classic.
Which is you go back to the classics. So so in bridals, if you see, there will be innovation, but it's just cycling. So every 8-10 years you'll see that same designs are coming up again and again and again. So in bridals, there is the life cycle of a product or a design is very large.
Right.
So currently, if you see big brands who are good into jewelry or bridal jewelry, you say, I'll take some names, say Sunita Shekhawat is there from Jaipur. She's doing good. She has a very peculiar way, but again, she's using that ancient Jada, Polki kind of a jewelry. We have Sabyasachi who last 3-4 years entered. Kishan Das is always there from Hyderabad. So all of them are using the traditional. So they have, jewelry industry as a whole have managed to probably keep that craft intact. So that's not an issue. But the problem is of day-to-day jewelry or casual jewelry. That's where we are losing a bit of our craftsmanship bit, because that's where most of the mass manufactured goods are coming into play. You have lightweight, 14 karat, 18 karat, 22 karat, very lightweight, machine manufactured things are coming. They want it at a low cost. That's what is probably hurting the craftsmanship bit of it. Otherwise, in terms of old crafts, I think most of the old crafts have been retained. Yes, a lot of craftsmen are moving out, mainly because they are being replaced by machines. But there are certain things which only a best craftsmanship can do, and nothing can replace them. They are always in demand. Like currently also, if you want a good crafted jewelry, it's very difficult to find craftsmen for them. So, and there are craftsmen for them. They have retained their knowledge.
The reason why I ask you is because as a consumer, let's say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was not really aware what would a typical South Indian design look like, or a very Bengali design look like, or a very Punjabi design look like, And Tanishq was apparently the brand who started up with the campaign, I believe, of Each State Wala Bride. And so what happened was, because of that entire exposure, you started realizing that probably the designs that you get here are just a pie, a very small pie of what is actually available, So do you think consumers would be traveling regardless of their own domain to kind of buy jewelry from different styles?
I think jewelry is one such form of expression which is culturally very rooted. So even now you will see very few people, suppose you'll find very few Gujaratis will wear South Indian jewelries unless they're marrying to a South Indian and they're having a South Indian custom wedding. That's when they'll buy it. Otherwise they would like to buy something which is Gujarati. A South Indian would like to buy which is something harems which only runs there, which can only sell there, because they relate to it much more. So I think culturally, the local jewelries or statewide jewelry find more expression in their own culture. They identify more with that.
So there's no cross culture for now.
For now, it's not there. Yes, in a city like Ahmedabad, in certain areas, there is a cosmopolitan crowd which is coming in. Okay, so they demand certain kind of jewelry. They do not want to go there to their own state and want to take that pain.
Sure.
So one of the big, few of the big retailers would have a mix of everything. Okay, so that will be there. Otherwise, I think it's jewelry. It's a very beautiful form of expression wherein people would not go out unless they identify with it. So it won't work like if they have seen somebody very beautiful, a South Indian probably model or an actress or probably a bride. They would not just copy it because jewelry is basically an accessory. So
Sure,
if it
sure.
does not fit properly, it will not happen.
Sure. So what are the millennials wanting now?
So there are two segments. I think very pertinent questions because they drive the decision back home. For 10 years before, there used to be a time wherein the head of the family, they used to decide, like even if the entire family used to go to buy, the head of the family or the one who's influential, probably the mother-in-law or the mother, they used to decide. That's slightly changing. I think not slightly. I think it's changing in a big way wherein the millennials are having a big say in what they want to buy, what they want to wear,
Sure.
or if they want to wear it or not.
Sure.
So again, there are two aspects of it. There are one branch of people or one segment of people who are very much into jewelry and they would like to go for traditional big very heritage kind of a jewelry.
Sure.
So they demand it and they know what. So one thing which millennials I like about them is that they know what they want.
Which is brilliant.
So they come with a very so it makes our life a bit more difficult because they are very specific, but we like certain audiences because it's a very productive and fruitful discussion after that. They want to make certain things in a certain way. So they are very aware about what they want, and so they one segment will buy a lot of bridal jewelry, which is chunky, and the other ones are completely minimalist.
Sure.
They know that they're not going to wear this jewelry for a long period of time, so they would rather buy small pieces of jewelry. They will. One more aspect is that the understanding of heirloom jewelry is also changing in millennials.
How so?
Now engagement rings and bridal rings are also considered as a part of a heirloom jewelry.
Okay.
So they would buy it with the mindset that they would want to wear it for their lifetime, probably pass it on. Okay. So that's where the most of the discussion happens. So solitaire rings is something which they like. Mainly into gold is something which they would like to buy, millennials, in terms of long term. In short term, they are moving towards silver jewelry.
Haven't they moved on from diamond?
No, so I'll tell you.
Solitaire, it is so fed. It is so fed to us by De Beers that's a woman's girl, best friend.
Right. But then the thing is that that's how the entire industry is. I think there is this notion that it is being fed onto us, or probably there is this marketing campaign which happened a few decades back, and but the diamond is a diamond at the end of the day.
But it's a fact. It's a fact. It's not a notion.
No, it's there, but then at the end of the day, it's a rare material, right?
Yeah.
It's a rare material. So because of the rarity, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, and there is an open market which is there. Of course, there are new species of diamond which are coming in, which are probably creating some kind of issues, or probably it's beneficial for our industry. It's another topic to debate. But no, people are not moving out of, and especially I think Ahmedabad as a market, or probably Gujarat as a market, is still too mature for diamond jewelry. People are still shifting towards it. Of course, gold is the major economy here, but diamond is something which they look forward to, and it's an aspiration product still now. Like even people, they want to graduate to a solitaire diamond jewelry. They want to have a one pair of earrings,
solitaire earring, pendant,
solitaire ring. They want to have that.
Yeah.
Okay. So and
you also mentioned silver, right?
Silver. So silver is in short term. If they want to buy something which is casual, silver is something which they are moving on to.
Right.
Mainly because it's less risky in terms of price point. It's lesser than gold jewelry.
Much lesser.
And they can experiment more. So if they are not buying into classical jewelry, which is a heritage jewelry or heirloom jewelry, they are shifting towards silver slightly.
Sure.
So that market is also a bit booming.
Yeah. So you mentioned that millennials are the ones who are kind of process of decision making. What do you think is influencing the decision making today? Is social media a part of it?
Definitely. I think social media is definitely a part of it, but many a times we give it way more credit to it than it deserves. Now it's coming from me, wherein if I talk about Bharatji, my entire marketing is onto digital. Okay, around 3 years back, we took a call that we do not want to do conventional medium at all.
Sure.
But I do understand that social media, many a times, it does have a kind of impression or a kind of influence on a millennial mind. But there are a lot of other factors which are, if it's coming to precious jewelry, there are other factors which play much more important role. It depends on what kind of circle you have, what your friends are wearing, what kind of magazines you read, what kind of movies you like, and all of that things do play a bigger role.
So it's more of aspirational value, right? Eventually, like when you say status or peer group or reading magazines or movies, it's about aspiring to wear something which is approved.
Bridal jewelry, yes.
Yeah.
Bridal jewelry, it's more of an aspiration that, okay, they're waiting for that day for many years and now they get to buy it. So they have developed a lot of thoughts for it and they have a lot of ideas for it and they come forth with that. So yeah, it's a bit of aspiration. So that thing is there.
Right. And also because there are now places like Carrot Lane. Carrot Lane is the one, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Blue Stone is there.
Right. They are the ones who are providing it online as well. So what's your viewpoint about this online selling of jewelry?
See, again, online is something which is at a nation stage. It works for
as a jeweler.
As a jeweler, online jeweler. It's at a nation stage, and what happens is it works for a certain product categories.
Okay. Small ticket size?
Not exactly small ticket size. Certain product categories, of course, it involve one is small ticket size and one is standardized products.
Okay.
So what I mean by standardized product is something like solitaires. Okay, and if you have a bit of knowledge, you can
the
buy
clarity and all
color cut, color clarity, and carat weight. You still go to carat. You can buy because certifications are there. The amount of risk is very less.
Sure.
However, and it's very cliche when I say this, the touch and feel never leaves its charm.
Yeah,
okay? As far as jewelry is concerned, people would still like to come and wear it. Okay. If everything is perfect, whatever benefits you provide online, they would still like to have it. That's one of the reason why Keratin also, they came up with physical stores.
Absolutely, they did.
They realized that it's not going to sell like that.
Yeah.
Okay? At some point in time, if they want to scale it up, they need physical presence. So I think for jewelry, mainly because it's a form of expression, number one. It's one of the highest emotional product for a customer.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so they would not like to buy it online, and that much, like certain products they would not like to buy it online. That's why the relevance of brick and mortar retail stores will definitely be there, but at some point in time both things have to merge
together.
The traditional retailers will need to have some kind of online presence.
Sure.
Okay, so that they can woo the customers. They can make them understand that what are they, why are they, and why their products are unique.
Right.
Once they have that online experience, they will have to come to the retail store, and that's how the entire experience can be probably enriched.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you mentioned about the online presence, which brings me to the another topic, that the bigger jewelers, by bigger jewelers what I mean is the established ones in metros, always took help of Bollywood celebrities, for endorsement, which is seeping into the non-metro cities as well. And there's a lot of endorsement happening by, let's say in Gujarat, like we have Gujarati movie stars, RJs are also picking up the endorsement. Has it really translated in terms of sales, or is it just a branding idea?
I think in jewelry, until unless you are 5 years or 7 years old in the market, every non-tactical promotion will not drive you sales.
Right.
Okay, because it's a time-taking process. It's a relationship-building process. It's a trust-building process.
Absolutely.
Probably collaborating with the stars will give you some kind of visibility. But for sure, it will not drive you, it will not make people walk into your store asking for products.
Sure.
Okay, so that expectation is probably not here. Everywhere it's not there. Again, the thing is that the Gujarati, the celebrity culture in Ahmedabad or in Gujarat has still not matured.
Sure.
Okay, for a celebrity endorsing everything, people need to look up to celebrities to a certain extent. So that gap is still there. I think probably in next 5-7 years, the way we are moving, that thing will happen. One thing which we look for when we collaborate with anyone, we recently collaborated with one of the movies, which is a national award-winning film, Hilaro, and we try to find the story behind it. Okay, that how Bharatji will be adding value to that project and how that will in turn help us.
Sure.
So that project, if I talk about in briefly 2 minutes, what happens is that we had to consult them on the jewelry. The movie is based in 1975, which is in Kutch. And none of our current jewelry, we are into diamond jewelry and gold bridal jewelry. None of our jewelry we were able to use it in that movie because the period was different.
It was period jewelry that you needed.
Period jewelry, and again, it was a non-precious metal jewelry,
right.
Silver, everything. So through that, we could use our expertise of understanding the design, understanding the culture, understanding that timeline, and developing a kind of
a line for it specifically.
Yeah. So my customers will understand that they understand jewelry. If I showcase that, okay, I designed something for Hellaro, okay, they'll understand that, okay, they are not into that kind of jewelry, but they understand jewelry.
Absolutely.
I think that kind of story weaving is very important.
Sure.
Pure play collaborations will help. Will definitely help, but will not help you win sales. Definitely not win.
Brand building, yes.
Brand building, definitely, it's there.
Yeah.
But again, the problem here is that you need to be consistent when you're building brand.
Sure.
One collaboration will not work. You'll have to do it over a period of months or probably years. That's when people will start recognizing you. I think that's very important, that consistency is there.
Absolutely.
No short-term results. As far as endorsements are concerned, it always has to be long-term, according to me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me, what are the challenges in the sector? Because that topic is what we wanted to majorly touch about, you know. A lot of news have been coming out, and the dip in the gold market right now, the economy slowing down, lot of people losing jobs. I'm sure there are a lot of things that are there in the industry going on right now in terms of logistics, probably in terms of manufacturing, in terms of employment, design, of course, you know. So what are the challenges that you face as a jeweler?
See, I think the current pressure, the challenge, the major pressure, not only now, like this thing has been going on since last 4 or 5 years, is that the biggest challenge is acquiring a new customer.
Right.
Okay. For a retailer, that's the basic.
Correct.
Customer acquisition costs are very high.
Right.
Despite the fact that the customers are moving, their brand loyalties are decreasing. So relatively, it should be easier to catch a new customer, but it's not.
Sure.
Okay. Mainly because people are substituting jewelry for some other purchases which are there. So. And especially now currently, because of the international conditions, the way the gold prices have shot up, there is a sentiment, okay, still people who want to buy, they have the money to buy, but the sentiment is such that there is a certain dip which is there in the market. Plus, there are certain government initiatives which are there. They look at jewelry industry with a different kind of an eye, which in long term might help, but in short term, it's probably creating a bit of
unrest.
Yeah, unrest in a way. So I think one of the biggest challenges currently, if I talk very practically, is the current legislation which is there, the gold prices which are there, and acquiring a new customer, which is the biggest challenge.
Sure.
The second challenge, which is, I think, as a retailer, if I want to think that what I can do and what challenge I am facing is the jewelry industry is not innovating much.
Yeah, I think that was the key that we were discussing earlier.
We are not innovating much as a retailer. When we say it's not innovating much in terms of the designs which we manufacture, and secondly, the kind of experience we provide to a customer.
Yeah.
Okay, you can own, as a retailer, you can differentiate only in 2 aspects. Okay, what kind of designs or craftsmanship of brand story you have, and what kind of experience you have. Either it's online or it's offline. We have been working since last 4 or 5 years to work on that, but I think as a collective, I think we need to work very much hard on that, and a lot of investment needs to be put in that with the right kind of people coming in. I think that's one thing which is very important, that we innovate on our designs and on our customer experience.
Brings back to the topic of design and plagiarism. It's a high ticket size, jewelry. How does one deal with plagiarism in such a high ticket size?
See, plagiarism is good in a way, I would say. There's something called a knockoff economy, copycat economy.
Yeah, which also survives in a country like India. It will survive.
Not only in India, internationally also it survives. Actually, in certain areas of the world, it lubricates the economy. Okay, so it's the one which makes good designer, a well-known designer. Okay, that's what it happens in the fashion industry. So
yeah, absolutely. Sabyasachi copies that we have. Yeah.
So the people aspire for that because now everybody knows that they're buying a first copy or second copy or whatever it is. They want to buy the new one. So plagiarism is good for an economy as far as that is concerned. However, on the flip side, being a designer studio myself, wherein day in day out we work on designs tirelessly, the cost of a design getting copied, it's very high, very high, and it hits most to the designer studios and everyone, not of big retailers.
Sure.
When I say big retailers, it's in terms of the number of stores they have, the presence they have.
Sure.
Okay, so as a designer hub, when we have 20 retail stores, we still face a lot of issues.
Imagine with 20 stores you face an issue.
Yeah, we face that issue, and so the problem is that number one, what happens in jewelry industry is that that initial adopters which are there in fashion industry, and then the copycat then probably enables them that they set the trend and everything. In jewelry, the product lifespan is very big.
Yeah.
Okay, so suppose if I come up with an engagement ring line, okay, so next season I will bring up a few more designs, but pretty much it's going to remain the same because
right.
it's a classic
concept.
product.
Yeah.
It's a concept. Okay, so it's going to remain same. So that's where the one who wants to copy get a larger leeway. Okay,
yeah.
So it's not a fad kind of a thing wherein they adopt and we come up with something new and then they copy it and we come up with something new. That's not going to happen. So that's going to be a big issue. The intellectual property rights in India are not that good. They are not creator friendly. So there are not creator friendly laws which protect them for their work and everything. I think that's not a problem only in India.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere, but it's much worse in India.
Sure.
So they make certain changes and they'll just come up with a new design, they'll come up with a design which they say it's a new design, but which practically is not. However, what saves us here is that they can copy the aesthetics of it, of a design. Okay, but jewelry, it's a complex craft.
Yeah.
Okay, they can copy the aesthetics of a craft. They cannot copy the intricacies of a craft.
Right. So the finishing and all of it.
Everything. It's not only about the finishing. It's not only about the things which the customer can see. It's about the things which customer cannot see.
Sure.
Okay, it's about the feel. So that differentiation we have been, we're working on. We have been trying to. So I think that kind of innovation is what will work against plagiarism.
Sure.
And I think a lot of responsibility as far as plagiarism also falls on the shoulder of the customers.
Absolutely.
Consumers. I think if they understand what they're buying and what has gone behind this specific design, and they can take a picture and they can go to any other jeweler, but they are doing a disservice probably to the jewelry which they're going to wear, or probably to the creator. So
absolutely.
The best thing is just the way we save ourselves is we just do the best work we do, which is designing jewelry. We try to communicate to our customers in the best possible way that why we are different, and that's it as of now.
To end up the dialogue, because it has been very interesting, few suggestions. How does one brand remain relevant, a jewelry brand remain relevant in current times?
I think it can happen in two ways. I think at some point in time, the industry, especially jewelry industry, needs to understand that it's okay to fail.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's okay to fail because as a retailer, if I feel that people are watching me and they're judging me, and again it's not real also. Okay, it's your own thought process. So one thing which I came up with recently also, I was with someone and it was like that you need to fail. First of all, you need to fail fast, and you need to fail cheap. Okay, what happens is the moment you do not realize that you need to fail, as it is failing, and the cost of failing increases. Okay, so you need to realize that you're failing. You need to fail fast and you need to fail cheap, innovate, learn from it and come out. I think that one thought processes will keep the industry relevant. Secondly, I think it's high time that non-jewelry people from design background come into the industry. I think it has been constricted to a certain aspect wherein generations and generations of jewelers are coming in. That's why we are facing a lot of shortage or dearth of good ideas, fresh ideas.
Sure.
In terms of customer experience, in terms of jewelry designs, in terms of jewelry display.
Absolutely.
Everything. I think a lot of new people need to come in. They need to be encouraged. The entry barriers in jewelry industry, which many a times is huge in terms of investment and everything. Probably if that gap can be bridged, wherein new designers can collaborate with the jewelers in a way, and they are given due credit.
Absolutely.
So that's something I think can keep the industry relevant, especially in India, but globally also.
Great. It was very, very insightful speaking to you, Jaydeep, and understanding from you, because the reason why we chose Jaydeep was also this reason that he is young by choice. He's decided to kind of come in the domain, and he brings a lot of freshness to the entire industry, which has been dominated by a lot of traditional people, houses which have been in the business for eons. Thank you guys for watching the show. If you liked, please like, share, comment and subscribe. The show will be up on Spotify as well for you to listen as a podcast. We will be back again next week with another guest Wednesday. See you then.
Thank you.